All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We're back tonight playing more Time Watch. What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
All right, so let's talk about the moon for a little bit. Favorite moon movie involving moon? I don't know. This is all just a leading question because there's an answer. There's something I want to say, so I'm just going to throw it to you guys first, and then I'm going to eventually go back to me and I'll say what I want to say.
It's going to be Moon, right?
Yeah, Moon's an excellent choice, but
that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's an excellent choice. Yeah, it's a good choice. It's not what I was going to say, but it's a good choice. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Okay.
All right. Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Anybody? Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Oh.
Do you know who plays the moon or the king of the moon? Robin frickin' Williams is he's the moon.
Get out of here.
Robin Williams is the moon in Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
That's really cool.
I love that movie.
So good.
That movie was formative for me. It's one of my, I think it might be my favorite of those like Terry Gilliam ones from the 80s. I think it might be my favorite because there's like Time Bandits and Brazil and whatnot. So, but like,
right.
But that one I loved. Yeah. So
I was going to say Apollo 13.
Okay. I mean, we're talking. That's fine. I mean, I want to talk about. Oh, okay. Yeah. Apollo 13. That's the thing. Wow. Cool.
The Martian.
Did the Martian have anything to do with the moon?
Oh, I mean, it's based space on the moon.
Is it?
It's about the red.
That's where they did the filming. They did the filming on this.
Yeah. They couldn't afford to go to Mars.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a bunch of red filters on everything.
Yeah.
Like, we could film in, Western Canada or the moon
or South
or Georgia.
Or
those are
moon.
our choices. Just
too many trees. They didn't want to take out all those trees. Like, there's no trees on Mars, Melissa. Come on. It's ridiculous. That we know of. Right.
Oh.
So, anyhow.
Well,
we'll see.
There you go. So, process of elimination, the moon.
Speaking of Mars, I've talked about Exo Squad, I think, on the channel before, right? Has anyone here watched Exo Squad other than me? Am I the only one?
It's been forever ago.
Okay. Jeremy has, thank God. Okay. Exo Squad for me is like I think about my childhood. I think about the 90s. I think about Saturday mornings. I think about the X-Men, the original cartoon, in Exo Squad. And it was basically, one was at, I can't remember which one was which. One was at 10:30, one was at 11:30, and it was just like, it was really good. Anyhow, but Exo Squad's on Mars. There's like Martians and stuff. It's weird.
Chat agrees with you. Exo Squad rocks.
VeggieTales and Teen Titans.
Excellent. Exo Squad was amazing. I loved it, and it had like two seasons, I think. And then there was like this crazy cliffhanger at the end of the second season, and it never came back, and it was very sad. So anyhow, but it was like a mech. It was like a mech show. So like it was like humans, and then there was, what are they called? Neo Sapiens, maybe. And then like they who are basically Martians essentially, or people from Mars. And like you would like plug. This was pre-Matrix, by the way. Matrix stole this stuff because they did the whole the plug in the back of the neck kind of thing, right? And then you can control your mech and everything. So yeah, there we go.
Neo Sapiens.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Neo Sapiens. And there's just basically big kind of blue-gray folks with like 4 fingers, I think. Crazy. I think one of them was named Marcellus Wallace, but that could be a Pulp Fiction character. It's one of the two.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
it was one and the same.
That's where Tarantino got the name.
It's something like that. Yeah.
It's a sequel to.
That sounds right. Everyone's stealing from Exo Squad.
Same universe.
Anyway. Why is there? We should do an Exo Squad. We should do an Exo Squad campaign. We should bring it back. It's only been 30 years, and no one's really cared.
Okay. Might be able to get the rights.
You know what else they're bringing back from the 90s? The Faculty. The movie.
Really?
They're redoing The Faculty.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The guys, what's his name? Josh Hartnett. He's back doing movies again.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah,
he did
in
that Trap movie.
Yeah, the Shyamalan movie.
He's got the airplane action flick out now. Looks very silly, but why not?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I was going to watch Trap, and then I saw it was Shyamalan, and then I waited and saw the news.
You-
It was a
seen
great
Old?
ad for his daughter.
I watched Old.
Yeah.
And my favorite character in Old is mid-sized sedan.
I will say, I was surprised at how much I loved The Visit because I didn't even know it was
Okay.
him before I watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
this is a really fun movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I saw
Like-
that one.
Yeah. Like there were some I still really enjoy Signs for some reason. Like even though it's crazy flawed, I just liked the
Mhm.
alien story. Like I hate the end of it, but I like the build up towards it and everything is so really cool. But then the end kind of like falls apart, which is not uncommon for his stuff. But I always like the build up to it. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's still a good watch.
It is. And like I like the music in it. The music was always cool. I always like the sounds of it. So. Anyhow, I don't know what the hell we're talking about anymore. Like all I wanted to say was that Robin Williams played the moon and then Baron Munchausen. And also the King of the Moon. It was pretty good. Okay. We're ready to go? Oh, and I think if I recall the storyline correctly, Baron Munchausen was flirting with the Queen of the Moon. And so Robin Williams was getting really upset the fact that Baron Munchausen and the Queen of the Moon, you know, they I don't know. I think they banged or something. It was weird. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time, so
I don't watch this movie.
it's such a good movie. It's ridiculous.
And if only there was a
all
world
right.
where like Baron Munchausen and Diego Matoy could cross paths. Oh, wait.
Of course.
Favorite intro. Period.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. Ready to go? Let's play. Last time around, we started up a new mission. You had a couple weeks off, and then you were sent on a scramble mission. All of you had this message, these coordinates to go to Berlin in March 20th, 1977, which didn't really seem like any particularly noteworthy event that you know of. But apparently some big deviations were going on the timeline and stuff was rippling out like crazy. So you popped into Berlin and quickly learned that the Berlin Wall was being torn down way too soon, according to the timeline, and that the USSR and the USA were in peace talks to basically de-arm. And Apollo 20, the mission itself, had just sent a message of global unity from a place called Grissom Station, which apparently is on the moon, which is why we're talking about the moon. And that was odd. So you started doing a little research. You went to the Berlin Library and you started trying to dig into what was going on. And you learned that some of these Apollo missions did not align with the true timeline. Apollo 13, as we all know, didn't have any kind of catastrophe. Everything was fine. Apollo 12 discovered water on the moon. Apollo 11 had a different landing quote that was kind of odd. And I think it was Jimmy who recognized that kind of had like it almost like echoed or paralleled a line from a movie by Stanley Kubrick. You might have heard of it, Space Odyssey. And then also that Apollo 18 to 20 weren't canceled because they in the true timeline they were. So that was kind of odd. Sun Tzu, you traveled ahead at one point to the 90s. You started seeing these weird conspiracy theories were popping up about the Apollo missions. Everyone eventually went back to 1969, which is the year that Apollo 11, back July 1969. You wanted to see what was up. You started to have these suspicions that maybe something was going on with the Apollo 11 mission. So you went back there. Muck at a certain point was basically thinking that everything was fake, really locked in on the whole Stanley Kubrick thing, went to a local bar and started chatting up with some of the engineers around Cape Kennedy to try to see if they had connections to Kubrick. It didn't sound like that was the case. Jimmy and Thomas, you broke into the operations building and you went through some personnel files, some communications log, trying to see if anybody had been in contact with Neil Armstrong, because at this point, in the timeline, the three astronauts are actually kind of sequestered for about 3 weeks ahead of time, so they're kind of all off by themselves. And you looked into it and you didn't find anything. Nothing really stood out to suggest that anybody was like communicating with him in any way. And that was that. And also, I think Isra went and forged some badges, so it would be easier for you all to move around Cape Kennedy as well. So I think that's where we ended up, right around there. I said that we were going to start with Sun Tzu, Syra, and Isra because I know that they had plans to do something while Muck was at the bar, while Jimmy and Thomas were scoping out the operations building. So let's go ahead and do that. So Syra, Sun Tzu, Isra, do any of the three of you have an idea of what you were doing while Muck and Jimmy and Thomas were doing their thing?
Yeah, because we had already snuck, like several of us were already kind of on the base or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to see if the stuff that they had on base made sense for a launch. Like, do they actually have rockets and fuel and stuff? Like, does it line up with what you should expect for a legit mission?
Absolutely. Give me an unobtrusiveness test. As you move about, you can, because you have like the badge, I'll say you could take like a +2 on this as you move about, because you're going to be able to kind of show it to various security, and there's tons of security around Cape Kennedy.
I'll throw 2 points from my. I'll spend 2 on it, and then so this number will have a +2.
Yeah. Okay.
So 8.
8 is more than enough. Okay, so you start moving around. You don't go into the operations building like Jimmy and Thomas did. Instead, you go out towards the kind of launching area. There is like the VAB, this vehicle assembly building that you find, where it's basically this huge hangar, and you can see that there's security. There's some people working late nights there, but this is late at night, so it's not like there's a ton of people here at the moment. And when you start peeking around, once or twice, like a security guy looks up, flashes a flashlight in your direction. You show the badge and kind of moves you along. And you look around, and there's these huge rockets, these like Saturn V rockets, like they're there, like you can see that everything's kind of they're getting everything situated, everything ready. All this equipment is here. You can see that someone's like, there's that launch pad area where they're kind of piecing together the structure with which they're going to use, like the big old gantry and everything. So you start moving around in that area, and everything here suggests that, based on your understanding of spaceflight in the late 60s, early 70s, everything seems to be accounted for. Okay.
And do we know what this mission originally was, like in the true timeline? This is the Apollo 11 mission, right?
Yeah. Do you have contemporary history?
I do not. I have ancient.
Okay.
I have research.
Research isn't going to necessarily help you here because you're just sort of trying to more get it from memory. As far as you know, the main purpose was that they were going to land on the moon. Like that was like, this is it. We're finally going to put like a human crew down on the moon. That was their primary goal.
Okay.
All right. So Sun
Checks
Tzu
out so far.
Wanders around the field, like these other buildings, these hangars, looks at some of the things that are going on. What's in storage, what's out of storage, what's getting prepped. What about Syra or Isra? The two of you.
Mel, did you have anything? If not, I have something.
Isra's was similar to Sun Tzu's in that she's kind of wanting to look more at the, kind of try to sneak around and get a closer look at kind of the ship itself, sort of all of like however much she can do that. So if Sun Tzu kind of covered all of the ship, because she's got history future, and she knows like ships from the future and like shipbuilder and all of that kind of stuff. So like if there's anything that she would be able to get with that information, that's what she would kind of want to go. So that's kind of what her spend she was thinking of, is sort of like history future or timecraft or any science stuff.
Okay. So is it more you're just trying to like sort of do the, like, because you're talking about doing kind of the same thing he is.
Yeah.
You would know that in the. So if we'll just say you went with Sun Tzu then. So like the two of you are wandering around, you go into this vehicle assembly bay. You can see that there is this, there is the large capsule. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There's the rocket itself, but then there's the capsule, the Eagle, I think that's what it's called. But you can see that is also kind of stored as well, and that is under guard. You can see there's basic security around. There are certainly layers of security. Like, you guys are so far in at this point that like it's like people to some degree presume that you're supposed to be here. You don't have press badges; you have actual badges to sort of being personnel. So everything seems like it's supposed to be where it's supposed to be. So if there's something more you wanted to do with that, let me know. But otherwise, like, you can see all of the pieces that your recollection would have suggest that it's here.
Interesting. So this looks like it's kind of looks contemplatively at Sun Tzu. Like, this seems like everything is, there isn't technology here that is beyond the time frame. This all seems to be time appropriate technology. This seems like everything is as it should be.
At least for the launch. Maybe if there's stuff that's off, it's whatever they're doing on the launch or the people that are on the launch. Like, it seems like the launch itself will be legit.
Interesting. Well, we've at least checked some things off the list. We haven't discovered the anomaly yet, but we at least know what things are, what they should be.
Okay.
Wasn't there like another facility nearby that had the actual like astronauts in it?
Yeah, there is astronaut crew quarters, which is like, so there's basically the main crew, which is Michael Collins, Neil Armstrong, obviously, Buzz Aldrin, etc. Like, there's the three of them that they have been effectively quarantined off in a way, like in a couple of weeks before leaving, and then they're going to also do the same thing on the way back, where they're going to, when they get back, they have to be quarantined. And then there's like the backup crew, and I think the backup crew had like I think Lovell was in it actually, and they're not as like firmly sequestered or firmly quarantined, but they are supposed to keep their contact with the public somewhat minimal. So yeah, the astronaut crew quarters is the one place where, like, if you tried to get in there, your badges wouldn't necessarily automatically let you in. You would have to devise a different way inside. Okay. What about Syra? What's Syra up to?
I was wondering if I might make a charm spend to do this, to ingratiate myself immediately, but Sarah's gonna look for someone who will work similarly to the kind of job that she might do, which is to know the mission parameters and maybe message that in a more palatable way for the public. So someone who maybe knows about the mission, but maybe is a scientist. So look for someone who's like PR, marketing, that kind of thing.
Okay. There's a press site. There's like a press building area. It's like a hub specifically. And while it's not particularly active right now, being late at night, it is a place that would have some level of activity during the day. There's a countdown of clocks. There's journalists and such that are constantly covering it. And this is a sort of a fairly big deal. But at this time of day, at like 11 o'clock at night or something like that, 3 weeks ahead of schedule, like, there's not like a huge crew around here right now. So can you clarify for me, like, what you're attempting to like accomplish besides just finding this place?
Sure. Specifically, I'd like to understand the mission parameters. Like, are they meant to go up just to see if they can make landing on the moon, or are they supposed to do something when they get to the moon? Because initially, like, the original plan is that they were just supposed to see if they could get to the moon. But, like, I'd like to know if there's more stuff they're expected to do up there right now.
Okay. Sure. Like, so you're just trying to talk to somebody to glean this information?
Pretty much, okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to get mission parameters, basically.
Okay. If you look around, certainly media would not be the best person to talk to, like, because media is just going to be public relations and what they push out to the public. So if you're looking for the potential there to be any other like secondary things that aren't being released to the press, that's probably not the best choice. But like if you try to again kind of connect with like the director of the center or one of the people within the operations center, that's probably a better place to go, or do kind of like what Jimmy and Thomas did and kind of dig into the files. But like this time of night, there's not really people here.
Yeah.
So like you can see, it's like that's the big thing. Like you're seeing like it's 3 weeks ahead of time. Like there's a crunch going on in some cases, but like this is more like prepping for launch as opposed to, you know, during launch itself. So from
I don't think I have anything else then specifically. Like maybe wait till morning.
Okay. I want to remind you all that you're time travelers. So you don't have to wait till morning. You can literally just go. Like you can literally just be like, you know what? I want to be here 5 hours from now, or I want to be here 5 hours ago. Like you always have like your autochron on you. Like, so like we don't have to do like real time. Like you can just time jump. Okay. So if that's the case, if everyone's sort of meandered around a bit, it's late at night. I think we went back on July 2nd. I think that's when we're at, something like that, July 3rd, around there. What are you all kind of connecting with each other, or are you in contact with each other?
Yeah, at least
What's
relay
next?
that it seems like everything from the actual physical rocket side seems to line up. But there's a lot of people that have like there's people from the future when I jumped up that said other details didn't line up about like personnel and what they were doing, and I haven't seen anything that indicates that being off yet.
Muck, were you able to get any information about the...
No. Sorry. No luck.
Maybe we should go to Grissom Base and just walk around there.
Yeah. I mean, if we go to the moon, maybe do some scanning for some time fuckery stuff.
Yeah.
See if we can find out, because there's definitely a split dealing with NASA. We can go there.
I think
Make a series
at the
of
very
jumps,
least
maybe.
we can kind of find out if split is Grissom Base or if it happened before Grissom.
Well, we can go there now and just see if we can do some time particle scanning to see if maybe that hints to what time period we should go to.
Just kind of do some jumping around in time.
Yeah.
I thought we figured out like the first moon, or at least this was in my head, that like the first moon mission was the first one that was off. That was like the oldest thing that we could find that was
11
different.
was the one that showed the difference, and that was the saying as Neil Armstrong hit, right? You didn't see anything necessarily strange about 10 or 9 or anything like that. 11 was the first one that showed anything amiss.
Okay.
And also welcome
Okay.
readers, lies you'll enjoy. Welcome on in. Playing some Time Watch.
I guess one other thing while we're in this time to see, there's supposed to be quarantine. I don't know exactly where I would check this, but I'm interested in figuring out if someone's broken that quarantine, if they've had any like security events or something, or like maybe there's press people poking around that weren't supposed to be.
Okay.
Like that type of thing, where people interfering with stuff before the mission that weren't us.
Okay. So do you want to try to like talk with a security official or something? Is that the idea?
Yeah, something like that. I could do an authority spend and try and pretend like he's reporting to me and on like any mishaps that happened under his watch.
Okay. Okay. So do you want, and you're just kind of looking for like you're looking for any specific, like as you're moving around, because you and Isra have been moving about like the various hangars and stages, and you've seen like security pass here and there. So you just kind of want to try to. Okay.
I'm more interested in security that's in charge of keeping the quarantine, like, because we've kind of looked at the rocket launch side, and that seems to check out as much as, you know, we've had 2 people look at it. It seems like it's good. So I'm curious if the personnel have had anything go screw with them.
Okay. You're making a spend?
Yeah,
So
authority spend.
security is definitely something, you're going to see people coming and going. So you're going to see people doing sweeps and movements around. And at some point you flag one of these security officers down, fully in uniform. You can see flashlights going around, and he's like, hey, you. And he kind of notices you, and what is it you say to kind of get his kind of attention and make him think that you are his like superior officer or something like that, or somebody of authority?
So because like our outfits can kind of change to fit whatever, right?
It's not like a chameleon thing where it's just like changes. It's more just like it puts you in the type of clothing that makes sense for the time and place. It's not necessarily like you have a uniform for this security. Like, you could find one. You could go into like you can go into places to try to recover one. So it's not like a thing that just like magically, like with the click of a button, changes you into something different.
Okay. Could I spend flashback for my preparedness that I found a
Absolutely.
security like uniform?
So during your move around with Isra, like you found your way into some sort of security locker room. Go ahead and give me a preparedness roll. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can spend whatever points you want to spend on that to
I'll throw a 2
ensure
on
your
that.
success. Okay.
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 Oh no.
You grab a uniform, but when you start trying to like act like you're the one in charge, you're like, can I see some identification there? So, like, you don't look too familiar. You look like
Absolutely, and I mind blink him.
He's like coming towards you. He's like, I don't really think. Hey, wait a second. And he goes to like reach for his radio, and then the mind blank thing goes on. Walk me through how your mind blank thing works, because that's new, right? Like that's one of the things she's got.
Yeah, it's the Men in Black like mind eraser thing, but it just gets rid of the past hour of their memory.
Okay. So like, oof. So his eyes kind of go bright. I'm not sure if it knocks him out. I think it just makes.
No,
his
it
memory
doesn't.
go off.
I think it just kind of like stuns him for a little bit, and then.
So as he closes in on you, when you have like this uniform that's not like it's like, again, it is a uniform, but you might have grabbed like a janitorial uniform on accident. Who knows?
Like, God dang it.
If it gets a little closer, you hit the button, and his memory goes blank. Okay. However, like you do have this guy like in front of you. Do you want to do anything?
Mm-hmm. I want to swipe his badge. So just take that,
and then like just run away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
And then try and find the security office and see if I can find like if there's any reports or anything that have been filed, something like that.
Okay. So we'll say you snatch. And you run away, or you teleport, whatever it is. Like you race away, and you go looking for the security offices. Okay, let me check back in with Jimmy and Muck because it's been a while. What are you guys up to?
What are we up to?
That's a good question. I'm having a hard time thinking of a good thing to contribute because
I want to remind everybody that you are time travelers. Like you have the power of the autochron to take you to any point. You're not limited to being on this base at 11 p.m. on July 2nd, 1969. You can go to July 1st, 7 a.m. You could go to July 17th. You can go wherever the F you want. So like you have that like capacity to move around. So don't think in terms of like just what am I supposed to do here at 11 p.m. on July 2nd. Think of well, where can you go to do something?
Do our fancy suits act as spacesuits?
I don't think so. I don't think you're. Let me check your armor. Because you've got. Hang on. Because you've got your TIMEWATCH uniform. I don't think you have like. I'm not sure if you have a helmet or anything. Let me take a look. Yeah, I don't think. I don't think it like covers your head.
Spacesuits and go to the moon.
But also,
let's go
you
jack some
could.
spacesuits.
Yeah, but you could also just use your autochron to go back to the facility, grab spacesuits, and go to the moon?
Yes. Now, if we're going to steal spacesuits, I say we go into the future and get nice spacesuits that like are reliable and not super heavy. So
Okay.
let's go to the 24th century and jack some spacesuits.
Okay. Do you want to like get suits from TimeWatch, or do you actually just want to steal?
Do they have? Can we get? Is that something we can put
Absolutely,
in a requisition
I would
form
assume.
for?
Yeah, it would be give me a bureaucracy
maybe?
spend, and you can
I
you
don't
guys
have
you guys
that.
can have
I don't either.
spacesuits.
I think I have that, so I'm happy to spend.
Can I instead steal them from our own organization?
You could certainly attempt to steal it. Yes.
I also
I'm
have a
happy
bureaucracy.
to make the spend, but
Yeah.
sure.
I don't have bureaucracy, but I do have burglary.
You've got a teammate
Okay.
who's
They're off doing things.
okay.
It's stealing time, Muck.
Okay. So first of all, do you want to do this as a flashback? Do you want to do like a preparedness roll to
Yes.
say you did all of this as a flashback? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have flashback actually? Wait, you don't
I
have
have
flashback.
4 in flashback. No,
you have
I
to have
don't.
8. You have to have 8 to be able
Yeah,
to
I've
have
got
flashback.
preparedness, not flashback.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
But you've got the autocron, so you can just go
Okay.
somewhere.
So
I'd like to
so if
say
that's
there's
the case-
someone in Time Watch who like knows that you like to steal stuff and is always just like and comes back
Okay.
behind you and like writes out the requisition form because it's like this is how Mr. Jenkins gets excited. He thinks he steals stuff.
Okay.
I'm
you
not a
could
good
just-
stealer. People just pity me.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and make a time travel test to go back to the Citadel?
Mhm.
Okay. Specifically to the place, like to equipment storage.
It's a 6.
All right. So you're back there.
Nice.
You're in equipment storage. You hear the sounds of like the klaxons going on because like there's like a serious mission, and like you hear people
yeah.
like on the comms talking about another ripple. 1987, 1994. Oh my God, what is happening? And like people are kind of freaking out as like the ripples are becoming more and more out of control. Go ahead and make a burglary test then to try to just like
Yeah.
snatch these things without going through proper requisition forms and such.
That's a 6.
6 will be successful. You want to grab? Are you
Wow.
grabbing one for you and Muck? Is that the idea?
Oh, I'm grabbing them for everyone. We're all going
You're
to
gonna
need them.
grab-
I'm just clearing out that
Okay.
rack in the supply cabinet.
All right. So these are futuristic spacesuits we're saying. So they're not the big bulky spacesuits. Otherwise, there's no way you would be able to take like 6
They're
of them
like
back with you.
leisure suits with like
They're like-
motorcycle helmets.
They're like they're like center things, and you got like little. Okay, so I'll figure you could probably do it. Okay, so give me another time travel test to come back to where everybody else is in July 2nd. You come
I
back.
got this.
Oh, I got a 1.
Okay, 2 points of kernel stability loss
Oh,
as
dear.
you zip back, and you now have 6. You have 6 like highly advanced spacesuits. Absolutely.
Hey guys, I went and I checked
Whoa.
these out from storage. They said we can use them as long as we want.
Awesome.
So cool.
So, Grissom, is that what we're doing?
We're going to the moon.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So guys, I'm assuming you guys have found a place to talk. Like,
Yeah.
We don't need to
Yeah.
get too specific. Okay, so you all don these spacesuits, and you wanna? Are you trying to travel to Grissom Station? Are you trying to like go
Yeah.
into like 1977, whatever, or like is that the idea? Because the Grissom Station was built in 1977. So that's 8 years from now when you guys first jump back to Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where you guys are going.
Sounds
All right,
good.
everyone, give me a chrono stability test.
Okay.
And I have not passed a single one of these yet.
6.
5.
3.
2 more from chrono stability loss for old Jimmy.
I'm at 2. I've still got plenty.
You're totally
Oh.
fine.
Wait.
My computer
Muck's gotta do Muck's thing.
Yeah, I will. I'll,
Sorry, you
I'll
continue
talk
to
to you.
Cyrus
fail.
still hasn't
as
passed.
2 more. Okay. Are we saying you guys are like going back at night? Is that the idea? Are you trying to go back like at night-ish? Okay. So,
Mhm.
okay, so you zip back and you find yourselves in what looks to be some kind of like storage chamber. Imagine like Star Trek: The Next Generation when you go in a cargo bay and you just see like racks of these big like Rubbermaid tubs that they made look futuristic. That's kind of like where you guys just pop in. There's no light other than what you bring with you. So when you shine it around, you definitely see that there are all of these tubs and these containers. So no one's, again, because you guys are time traveling, no one has been alerted to your presence as of yet. It's very quiet. You don't hear the sounds of really anything. What would you like to do?
So we've got some folks that are low on stability. Or
Yeah,
low
I need
on,
a space hug or time hug.
Yeah, me too.
Jimmy,
A space
great work.
time hug.
Can you believe you put a muck on the moon? I'm sorry. And then so I'll give you. How much do you
Groan.
need? I know.
I'll give you the groan.
No, it was bad, and I regretted it immediately.
Where
So
does Muck think we are if he didn't believe in the moon?
his thing, he
Western
believes in the moon. He
Canada?
just thinks that it's all a hoax. So that's the whole reason he joined you guys in the first place. Is you manufactured a stellar event.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, I'll spend. It's a 1 for 2, so I'll spend a point for each of you guys. Give you 2, or if you need more.
Amazing.
2 will at least pad me for another 2 emergency jumps.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Okay.
So that will take me up to 4.
Okay.
Okay. While Muck, Jimmy, and Syra are doing a group hug, Sun Tzu and Isra, do you two do anything while this is happening?
Probably like scope out the size of this base. Does it look like it's big enough that we would actually be able to go inside unnoticed, or is it like really tiny?
You're inside of it. Like you're inside.
Oh, we are inside.
Yeah, we're in a
you're
storage bay.
You're in a storage bay
Okay.
within Grissom Station.
So
Yeah.
Isra's wanting to see in the storage bay. So I'm kind of like, is there some kind of a panel over by the door or something where I might be able to like hack into kind of the systems
Absolutely.
here? So I'm looking to use and or spend hacking here to get a layout and that kind of thing.
You see along the wall by a door, there is a very large panel with a series of these, like, you can tell like they're like visible bulbs for lights and such. Nothing seems to be lit currently. It all seems to be dark, but you can definitely tell there's like a layout. There's like a screen, series of what looks like these these elongated cylindrical tubes, like light bulbs and such. And all of that is like right on this wall. And then you can see right by the door, there is like a small little control panel as well.
So I want to go over to the larger to see if
Okay.
I can kind of hack into that, get a blueprint kind of a thing.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a tinkering test.
Okay. Can I spend a hacking for a +3?
Don't do that.
Okay.
Just roll tinkering.
Okay.
I don't want to take your hack.
I'll spend 2 on this.
Okay.
So +2 gives me a 6.
Okay. You come over to this big panel and you start trying to find a way in to the system. And you realize that like there's no clear input device. There's no keyboard, nothing like that. You start to hit the panel itself. You hear like the clink, clink, clink of like a television glass, right?
Mm-hmm,
And like it's not responding in any particular way. And then you start kind of touching some of the actual like bulbs, and none of them seem to work. You then notice at your feet, like there is like a cord coming out of the wall and wrapping around and plugged into an outlet. But you can see it has one of those like it has like a switch on it, so like you can kind of not cut power. So it seems like it's depowered currently.
Well, let's tink, 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 tink. All right. Step 1, plug in. All right. So I will flip the switch to
You
the
see
on.
the lights come on, all these bulbs, and there's like this pattern, toof, boom, 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 boom. And you can see all like there's like pattern of some of the lights come on, some of the lights go off, some of the lights go on, some of the lights go off. It's like this kind of mesmerizing pattern. A few of them are constantly stable. You see the screen come on, and all it has like what looks like an inventory list of some kind. It's sort of listed in these 2 columns. But it dawns on you pretty quickly, Isra, that there's no way to interface with this. Like none whatsoever. Like you're trying to interface with it. There's no way to do it. There's no keyboard, there's no mouse, there's no touchpad, none of it. You don't think this is a computer system.
So this is a display of some kind, but I can't access anything. Interesting.
And now the whole room, by the way, is lit up by this panel of lights.
All right. Maybe can I check the door? Because there was a smaller version of this adjacent to the door, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you go over to the panel by the door, which looks like it's kind of got like this illuminated button. And as you get there, you realize it's not actually illuminated. It's just painted in a way that looks like it's bright and glowy with like a little bit of a gradient.
Mr. Muck, I have to admit I had a good laugh at your theories around the faking of all of this, but we have a display which is not interactive. It is simply a display and a painted on little decal thing here. So there are some observations in favor of that, I suppose.
Yep, 2 tribes fight. Outside thing to look at. Pay attention to that. Now we get along.
How are your hugs done? Are you all feeling a little more stable?
Yes,
Very
thank you.
stable.
Excellent. Do we want to venture out past this door?
Very much.
Yeah, but before we do, are there any windows, like portholes or anything for us to look out?
Sure, we'll say there's some portholes. Yeah, like some smaller windows, not like a full thing. But you go wander over and you look out and you see what looks like darkness of space and maybe a little bit of like the sort of the white gray terrain of the moon. As you get closer, Syra, you realize like it's just a painting.
Or poke at it and save my. This
Paint
is
flakes
a
off.
painting too. This isn't a real window.
Can we check like our chronal GPSs to physically confirm that we actually went to the moon?
Yeah.
You can confirm that you went to Grissom Station. August
What
20th.
year is it?
Oh, that's an interesting technique.
I think it was 1977. So
Yeah.
Right.
you guys are late March, after the Berlin Wall, when the Grissom Station was operational. You are in 1977, late March, and your chronometers, your spatial GPS says, like, temporally you are exactly that time, and it says location Grissom Station.
I'm gonna jump, and do I feel lighter?
No, you don't feel lighter. You don't feel
I
lighter.
don't think we're on the moon, guys.
Jumps.
Hey, Muck,
We're
can you smash this
inside.
window out?
I can.
I mean,
We could just open this door over here and see what else is that way.
why don't we do that first?
Okay.
Okay.
Ezra, you go up to the door. There's no clear way to open it. It's just like this plain door, but you put your hands against it and you just slide it, right?
Yeah.
And it goes into like this little pocket door. It's very light.
Mhm.
And what you see is a walkway in front of you. and you see what looks like an overhead with like pipes and grates and such hanging down from above, and some lights here and there. And then there's no other wall, like on the opposite side of this hallway. You just see like this black space, like this dark black space. You can see these shapes here and there of different machinery and devices, chairs this way and that. Looks like a camera set over here, another camera, a couple cameras over there. Looks like a seat here, chair there. Looks like you're on a set of some kind, okay, a recording studio.
Well, Mr. Muck, I think we're all going to owe you a few drinks later. Cameras and everything else out here, everybody.
Okay, drinks later. For now.
Do we hear any voices? Is there any sign of like people or anything out here?
No. You have come at a time in which it seems the set is down for the day.
I want to actually poke around the set and see if I can find any like picture boards or anything that indicates what they were filming.
Absolutely. You start moving around. You start searching. Is everyone spreading out and just kind of searching around? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So no rolls necessary here. I assume you're just kind of seeing what you can see. You said specifically you're looking for like a storyboard. There's this big kind of chalkboard style blackboard style, and you can see pasted onto it are a series of sketches. They're decently done, but they're definitely storyboarding like you might expect. And you can see it has like images of like different astronauts on like moving throughout the station. There's this one big scene it's focused on where it's got Fred Hayes like in the command area, like speaking into what appears to be some kind of messaging. And like there's little notes next to it where you can see like quotes from his speech that he gave that you heard repeating over and over in Berlin. So if everybody else was looking around, at some point, Sun Tzu, you find a series of chairs, these little foldable like actor director chairs. Some of them have names on the back of them. One of them says Hayes on it. One of them says Kubrick on it, and then there's various others as well.
Okay.
Can I use my autochron? I'm trying to think of how to do this. I'm sure I would know how to do this. To just like pop myself like a half a mile away, because like we intentionally
Absolutely.
came to this Grissom station, and so I just want to pop a half a mile away just to see like where the hell Grissom station is.
Absolutely. You pop yourself about a half mile away, you said?
Yes,
And
and I failed
give
my
me a roll.
chronospeciality.
Take two chronospeciality losses. You pop out, and you find yourself standing in the middle of like a field. Like you got grass beneath your feet. You can see the stars overhead. It's nighttime. You see the moon up overhead. Some trees here and there, some hedgerows, and you can see in front of you there is a fairly lovely looking estate of some kind. Like it doesn't look like you're on like a California Hollywood studio. This literally just looks like something that, might come out of like a Jane Austen kind of production.
Mhm.
It's Pemberley or something like that.
Can I gather any information from my autochron? Like now that can
Sure.
I get information about like when, where?
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you start digging in and you don't pay attention anymore to like the idea of Grissom Station and where Grissom Station is, and you just try to get a geographical understanding of where you're at, you are in England. You are specifically in a place known as, apologize to our garb-like friends who might listen to this, Child Wickberry Manor, St. Albans, Hertfordshire, England. And then you'll have some sort of suitable longitude and latitude that probably comes along with it.
Sounds made up.
I mean, All names are made up, so
England is fake.
Buck has not
Just
been
really
wrong
too
so
emboldened.
far.
Yeah.
Buck is very solipsistic. If it's not around him, it doesn't exist. Yeah. Okay,
Oh, okay. So,
you're gonna
Sit
zip
there for
back. Okay, you're gonna sit out there.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would want to come back in, like pop back and just say, this may make a little more sense to you, 20th century folks, but we are in, and then she's going to kind of read back, St. Albans, Hertfordshire, England,
1969.
that,
March, all still tracks, or excuse me, 1977, March 20th,
okay.
late at night, like almost midnight, basically. Israel, you have to make another travel test.
Oh, that's right. See if I pass this one. We are in a place called England. That's not the moon, but not from this time.
What time are you from again?
The 20
That's
The
way in the
far
future.
The year 2000.
like a few hundred years in the future.
They must have really terrible like public education.
I'm not from
Just
Earth.
by then, England
I'm
isn't as
from, like-
important.
Oh, yeah.
I come from a whole other.
Okay. England. Do you know any more besides just England?
We're in the same time. It's still March 20th, 1977. And she'll kind of give all the specifics about like. So definitely not the moon. And this doesn't appear to be Houston or Cape Kennedy or Cape Canaveral either.
Okay. So we're in a fake space station in England.
Jimmy, do you want to make a trivia spin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead and make a trivia spin.
How many points would you like?
Just one's fine.
Okay. Then I will spend
Okay.
trivia.
As Isra tells you where you're at,
Yeah.
you are in Stanley Kubrick's English countryside manor, like his mansion. It's a mansion.
yeah.
I think Chuck knew that, but I just want to make sure, like, your character knows it.
Yeah. Okay. So Muck, in this timeline, you're very right.
Oh, I was just thinking, want to record that. But then thinking, want to record that, why not record more? Because I was just looking at some spends you can do for Spycraft. You can create a thing that will record an area. What if we planted some things that could record what's been talked about in this area? And then that way we can listen, like, what the hell have they been doing? Versus just reading the scripts.
That is, yes, an option, but it does. This does confirm my current theory is that something terrible happened in early NASA. They never left the planet, and they decided to fake it all. And they realized, oh, people are really latching onto this. Let's twist the story to give humanity something to rally behind and be peaceful. Like
They Ozymandias did.
they really did.
That Monk knows.
well-
He knows.
He knows Watchmen.
Random
Watchmen,
comic.
so iconic. Reddit,
We love
Doesn't
Rorschach.
know the moon or anything, but
Rorschach's
doesn't know
so
England.
funny.
Knows Alan Moore. Knows the entire work.
Yeah,
You're
Mud
trapped in
Love,
here with
Swamp
me.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be so
goodness.
ridiculous.
Carries his Rorschach mask. Just that's what he goes as for Halloween in the Citadel.
Mhm, mhm.
We've already established he knows Stanley Kubrick. So,
Okay. So,
So should we
you-
pop around a bit in this location and see if anything changes in future years? If they just keep using this forever and ever?
I mean, we can.
It's curious that the site we looked at, though, like checked out for the rocket. It seems like they're actually doing rocket launches. I'm curious if they put anyone
Are
on
they?
that rocket, though.
They're isolating them beforehand, which seems like standard procedure.
Yeah.
But we don't have proof that they actually put those people on a rocket.
Or that there's even people in there. Like, we didn't look. Pretty easy to
Let's
say
do
there's
some-
people in quarantine that you never look at.
So should we just go back and check out the actual launch?
Let's do our time travel teleports to T-minus 10 seconds in the cockpit of the space shuttle.
Can
I
we
feel like-
do that?
We would be noticed.
We're time travelers. Who cares
One
if we
of
notice?
you probably could. There's only so much space inside the capsule. I don't think 6 people could just pop into the capsule without being
We
noticed.
Well, you
could.
can just pop in like the day of and just watch and see if anyone gets loaded on the shuttle and like what happened.
That's so. There's so many options for. I mean, it's Kubrick here. Like he's got tricks. If
I
we
like the
get
T minus 10 seconds. I
T
like
minus 10 seconds.
T minus 1 second, in fact, and just be
Well,
in it.
I don't want to accidentally be there standing when it starts going, because then we'll become pancakes. T minus 10 seconds. See if the people in there actually panic to our presence, or if they're all like mannequins. And then we got to be there for a minute though, because the thing's got to cool down.
You can't just rapid fire jump.
Yeah. I would like to just kind of watch things happen all day, like
Okay.
closer on site.
Sun Tzu, go ahead and give
Go
me
on.
another time travel test to go back
Yep.
to 1969, July 16th.
3.
I don't remember the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 2 stability loss. Who else is going back with Sun Tzu?
I don't have any need to be here, so I'll go back with Sun Tzu.
I'm trying to decide if I want to because I'm down to fucking 4 similes. So I think I'll stay around here.
Okay. Just understand, though, that you are in 1977, so you're 8 years. If they do anything in the past that could potentially change where you are at, you could potentially find yourself kind of in this sort of splintered timeline. So that is one of the
So we should go
dangers of
back.
jumping around. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
You have a time
gonna
traveler.
Go back.
basically.
Yeah.
Sure.
That makes sense.
I'll go back then.
Yeah.
Extremely
That
split
had
party.
not occurred to me.
Yeah. It would have to be something significant, like they blow up
Sure.
the damn thing or something. It's not like they, But with this group. All right, it launched at 9:32 a.m. I think. So you guys are there, and you're going to be there pretty early in the morning. So we're back in Florida. Anybody who travels, go ahead and make your chronos ability, except for Muck. Make your time jump. And you all find yourselves. Are you going to go ahead and take advantage of your badges and the work that you did previously to just like be on site and watch it happen? Okay. If you're interested in being by the astronaut crew quarters, we could do an unobtrusiveness test to see if you guys could just kind of linger in the area amongst other people, watching them like kind of leave. And sort of-
Absolutely.
yeah.
I want to
Anyone
try and
can do
track
that.
it. Like, were there people there? Did they actually get on the shuttle? You know,
Absolutely.
like, what's going on?
Okay. So go give me the unobtrusiveness. Okay.
9.
All right. So
Wow.
Sun
It's
Tzu.
amazing.
Do I need it?
Wow.
Since I'm there, do I need to do that as well?
Yeah. You can piggyback if you want. Just spend an unobtrusiveness point. If anyone wants to piggyback off Sun Tzu's roll, you can just spend
Yeah,
an
I
unobtrusiveness point.
will.
Okay.
I will.
I did
Thanks.
a bad job.
But you just have to spend a point, so it's fine. You didn't actually have to roll.
Okay.
And don't forget, by the way, you guys give each other stitches and stuff. You do some cool stuff, this and that, and everything. Okay. All right. So you watch as the crew is led out from the actual crew quarters earlier in the morning. They're led effectively towards the what's it called? I'm trying to remember the names of these things. I think it's could just be the operations. Yeah, operations building. So they're led out of the crew quarters towards the spacecraft operations building. And when you see them leave, you see them, they're not in like their suits yet. So they just have kind of like their jumper stuff suits on and everything.
And does it match up? Like,
looks like Neil Armstrong, looks like Buzz Aldrin, looks like Michael Collins. You can see all three of them. And you can see they're being led there by people who are like dressed in like doctor outfits and things like that, scientists, etc. They're just being kind of escorted. They're all talking and walking. They're definitely doing the Aaron Sorkin thing, as if like they're prepping, going through things, this and that. Like, they looks very serious. There's like an anxiety and an excitement in the air as this is happening. You see them led over towards the operations building. And you know that inside, and to some degree, you guys could get inside and start poking around, but you would never be able to go into, well, not never. I don't want to say never. You certainly could with some effort, but like getting into the place where they're doing like the last suit up part, like that would be noticeable. And you would have to like devise a situation for why you would do that or how you would do that. So as long as you're just kind of lingering on the periphery, no one seems to object to you being there. And you'll see that coming out of the operations building, you'll see three men in their suits, as you would expect them to see. You can see that they're being led first on like a cart, and then they walk towards kind of the launch pad and kind of off towards like where they're going to load up. And so you can see them moving out. They're fully decked out, with the exception of their helmets. They're all kind of carrying their helmets, and you can still see their faces. Everything checks out.
We still need to see if like they get on the ship and if the ship takes off. So like I would think we're just sticking around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any kind of like notice spend we can do here to see anything additional?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll say if you want to make a notice spend, I'll like that'll be enough for you to have some device or binoculars or whatever to kind of where you can't get close, you could see from a distance. Yeah.
Okay. Then
yeah, make that notice spend. You notice then you keep an eye on them the entire time from when they leave the operations center in their suits, when they get out to the structure. In the launch pad area, when they get off of their little ride, they start walking, and you can see like there's cameras and things that are tracking them and everything. Like, this is a big, you've probably seen some of these pictures and such, and you can see them start like ascending and climbing up into the actual device, and then you see them go inside. All the trucks.
Okay. I'm confused.
Okay. Some time passes. You hear preparations. People are getting excited, etc., etc. You look at your local time. 9:20, 9:27, 9:29. All of a sudden, people are getting really excited. You can see like the rope line where the press people are. Pictures are being taken. You hear this thunder and the rumble of the engines roaring, and then suddenly, 9:32, it takes off. You could feel it in the earth.
Well, they did take off. We saw them get in, and they did take off.
Yeah. They did. But I'm confused. Because like there's no station. But they did leave. I watched them with my binoculars. They got on the thing.
So
do we go to the moon and watch this from that angle and see what happens?
We got spacesuits.
We have spacesuits.
Let's go to the moon.
Yeah. That's
And I
where
am not
we thought
plugging
we were
in
going.
Grisham Station. I'm plugging in the
Okay.
goddamn moon.
Do you want to plug in like the landing area for Apollo 11
Yes.
a handful of days from now when they're actually going, like just before they
Yeah.
actually come down? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see, like, you could see Aldrin and Armstrong coming down. Is that the idea?
Yep.
Yes.
That's the idea.
And then I'm going to
Give
stick
me-
men tags on.
Give me.
Wow.
Hey, that's amazing. Give me a time travel test. This is going to be non-standard as you are going onto a completely different celestial body. So the difficulty is going to be the difficulty and the cost is going to be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So make spends accordingly if you see fit.
No, I didn't spend. I got a 3.
I spent 2. Oh, and this time I get the 6, so it's an 8.
I think I'm gonna spend my paradox prevention, which is like a +3. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, +3. I would give you a +3 on the roll. All right.
That's a 5.
Okay. Looks like only Jimmy failed. I think everybody else passed. Jimmy, you're going to take 4 points of kernel stability loss as the added bonus of essentially popping into a place where the gravity is completely different. You've literally traveled to a different, like all of it, kind of the shock of it as it comes through begins to
So what
to
happens
render.
if I'm at 0?
I think 0, you're okay. It's negative is bad, right?
Okay.
Is that right?
Is it
I think
time
that's
for
right.
now? Do we need to
Double check.
space out?
Popping up the rules help right now.
Yeah, it's negative.
Sounds
That's bad.
right.
Nope. Hang on. 0 to -5, you are actually fading. So the difficulty of all general ability tests increases by 1. And if you decide to use investigative abilities, it's going to be more challenging. You have to like essentially make a test first to see if you're able to use it.
Okay.
So you are in fact fading. Okay. You all time travel, physically travel from planet Earth to the moon. You land around Mare Tranquillitatis, something like that. I think it's around where it's so you're at a kind of crater. It's kind of southwest of crater Sabine D. I'm looking this up now on the National Air and Space Museum, in the southwestern part of Mare Tranquillitatis. So near the Sea of Tranquility. So for layman's terms. Okay, so you land there. And you are on the moon. Unlike when you went to Grissom Station, you can tell immediately gravity is different. You take a step and suddenly you're like up. You can feel your weight is a little different. You are in these highly advanced suits, so like you're not feeling any pressure, not danger, or anything like that. There's probably a little bit of disorientation, I would imagine, since you didn't really train for this thing. But here you are on the moon. Okay.
We made it. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
You don't look so good. And Isra wants to run Jimmy through some like basic trivia stuff. Like, tell me who was president of the United States in this year. And, to like, she'll just kind of run that kind of stuff. I also have some reality anchor, so I'll spend 2.
Nice.
So like that's how I'm trying to like
Nice.
get you back, is just running you through some like who invented whatever candy bar and like all of this like kind of
That's-
stuff.
Fantastic. Take a stitch for being so helpful.
Yeah.
You feeling better?
I am feeling better.
Excellent. We're on the moon, which I think is more exciting for you all than me. I've been on
Yeah.
moons and planets and things.
It's
Buck jumps
very cool.
crazy high. Then he comes back down. And he thought it didn't exist. Okay.
I never said the moon didn't exist.
I think that's the funnier thing. Okay.
It would be funnier, yes.
All right. What are you all doing now that you're on the moon? You're looking at the time. Like, they should be here literally, like, they should be coming down sometime within the next 30 minutes.
Let's go find a place to kind of hide and
Yeah,
Like,
just
cover
like a
ourselves
big
with
rock
moon
to
dust.
hide behind.
Go ahead and hide on the moon and hope that they don't see you. Okay, you can do
Yeah.
another unobtrusive. We could piggyback too if someone wants to do the lead roll.
I don't
can-
have unobtrusiveness left to spend.
I've got a bunch of unobtrusive, so
Yeah, me
You guys gotta
too.
start giving each other stitches so you can replenish some of these pools.
I just got a
Do you want me
stitch.
to
So that
spend
means that I
chuck, or
can
do
get
you
my
want-
unobtrusiveness. So I can do that.
I can dump. I've got 7 points of unobtrusive, so I can dump a lot into it. What's yours?
Mine's 5 of 6.
Let me go ahead and do it, and I'm gonna just to make sure we're all hidden. I'm gonna drop 4 on this thing.
All right, and I can do my piggyback because I just spent my stitch to get the unobtrusiveness, so I could spend it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
piggyback.
do the same.
Okay. My base rolls an 8.
Okay. I think this is a relatively flat area where they landed. I think they intentionally
Yeah.
picked this, but we're gonna say
We need
that
a
you
lot
guys
of help.
Yeah, you guys can say that you find some chunks or some mini craters to hide in, stuff like that. Okay, so everyone make their spend, do their thing, and who is doing the lead roll? Was Jimmy?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
and I had an 8.
You find a place, you duck down into this little mini crater, and you wait. About 15 minutes later or so, you kind of spot some activity above you, and you think you see something moving. It's well up still, like it's still kind of coming down. It's like literally the eagle is you can't necessarily see the distance of where it's detached, obviously, but you can see it's beginning to make its descent, right? So you can see like a little speck in the sky, so to speak, beginning to move and descend towards you. It's the only thing moving, so it's very easy to sort of notice it. As you're watching, you suddenly see in the sky this bright streak of it's like a kind of a purplish, vibrant violet. This line just comes out from off to the, off to the side. This would be like into the direction of like the Sabine D crater. I think that's crater Sabine D, which is like to the southwest of the area. Anyway, so it's about 20 kilometers away, so to speak. But you see this long zoom, and suddenly that speck coming down just goes and is obliterated before your eyes.
That's messed up.
Oh my word.
What was that like? Is there things?
What was the light? Can I do a science spend to hazard a guess as to
sure.
what that light was?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Houston, we have a
This-
problem.
Yeah. You would know that this is some kind of highly advanced, more so than 1969 would have. Some highly advanced kind of like phase laser weaponry of some kind.
This is something that's a little more like my time. This technology did not exist on Earth in this century.
Do we have any sense of where it
Where it
came
came
from?
from.
Yeah, it's like 20 kilometers in that direction, and she'll point
Mm.
that
Exactly.
way.
You kind of saw
And
like
she,
the streak along the sky, but you don't know exactly where it's coming from, but you know the direction it came from. As if
Is there
someone
a guess-
fired like a laser.
looking-
out
Did
her
anyone bring an
pacifist,
American flag?
or-
Gotta complete the mission.
So do we go back an hour over there? And
Yeah.
she kind of pulls out her pacifist.
Or we just go check it out now.
Mm. They were
What do you got,
there
Muck?
waiting.
Or, yeah,
like we
if
were
we-
here waiting.
If we get there first and we're there waiting, we can stop whatever they're going to do.
Right.
But also, how did they know to wait there?
like figure that out when we board or
Okay.
So I see your point. So we go there now, see who they are, what they're doing, then we go back and stop them.
Yeah.
Okay. Good plan. Surveillance first.
Okay, so
probably
you
have
guys
the
are
quote
headed there
different
now.
because whoever was supposed to say the quote actually died, and then they salvaged it by faking. Oh no, they actually landed.
Okay. Are you guys teleporting in the direction, or are you going to try to do a 20-kilometer moonwalk?
No, we're teleporting.
Okay, so I want to make sure. So I need another teleportation spin.
Yeah.
That'd be fun, just to see you guys.
Now, is this going to be another one of the hard ones, or is this going to be an easier one because we're
you're
going
fine,
from same
'cause
to
you're
same?
just going
Okay.
from same to same. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my first success.
There you go.
Hey!
Passed.
I got a
Failed.
one.
It's been rough for Jimmy. It's been a rough mission for Jimmy. Jimmy.
Oh,
I'm just
sorry,
not good
man.
at time traveling. I think I pretty much always fail them.
I
Yeah,
started
me
the
too.
session
Up
at
until
11.
this
I failed one.
particular roll.
I started
Muck
at 11 and I'm
failed.
down to 3.
Okay. All right.
I
so
get
you
to
guys
avoid a lot of rolls. It's fair that eventually
You do. You guys zip, zip, zip. You all pop up approximately 20 kilometers southwest of I guess it's just like the Sea of Tranquility area, and it's in this. You're kind of at the rim of this crater, and it's very dark looking down into this crater, and you can tell that immediately something is utterly and without without a doubt out of place, as you see protruding from the crater a spire of some kind, a very dark gothic spire that seems to be protruding up out of the crater itself, barely peeking up over the rim. It's several stories high, and that's what you see.
That's weird.
That absolutely does not belong. Can I do a history future test or spend to try to get a sense of, like, does this look like 23rd century, 24th century? Like, where do we think this might be from? Or
I
Sure.
can also do a contemporary. That's better.
Contemporary won't do you any good in this case. Future history would be okay. Yeah, you can give me a future history.
okay, making a spend.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
Well, actually, no. Don't make a spend. I'll just tell you that it certainly seems like something that is maybe not your contemporary, Isra, but you've seen structures of its kind built in, you've seen images, like hollow images and such of it, built in your time and have been kind of scattered about like Earth and various other places in your time. So like it is something that's probably late, 27th, 28th, 29th century, something like that.
This is quite a bit in the future. 27th, 28th, 29th centuries. This does not belong here whatsoever.
What was
I
your
believe
home
you.
time?
I tried to look that up earlier and I couldn't find it, and I wrote it
I thought you
somewhere,
were in
and
the
I don't.
30s. I actually thought you were in the 30s. Like you went crazy far, I thought.
That sounds something familiar. I thought it was like 3100 or 3200.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
you-
pretty close to the time of yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't write it down.
Does anyone have, let me see if any of you, I think maybe only Thomas has it. Does anyone have architecture?
I
Sun
do.
Tzu?
Yeah.
Since there is an architecture spent if you would like it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Despite its clear advanced tech, like there's this, it's literally black. You're not sure. Like, well, actually, I would say you are sure that it's not just the shadow that's causing it to be black. You think whatever material it's been made of has been made in such a way as to allow it to blend into like the shadows of this crater.
Camouflage.
But you guys are probably like looking through some sort of like binoculars with some kind of vision scope and such. And when I say it's Gothic, I mean it. Like you can see these like strange like spires, these nooks, these things. There is a very clear association between this spire and its architecture and like sort of ancient, according to now, like medieval spires. This has a very like Catholic sort of Christian medieval Middle Ages kind of crusades sort of structure to it, just highly advanced with much bigger and better materials of some kind.
Okay. I think it's our alternate time buddies that are messing with this one too.
You think this is the cyberpunk Vatican?
Could be.
You have broken into the Vatican, so you would know it's not the Vatican. However, because you've actually gotten into their records. Remember, you broke in, I think we said, into the Vatican at one point and broke into their archives and got chased out. So this isn't that. This does, however, bears a striking architectural resemblance to what those weirdos in the future do.
Yeah, sorry, the people connected with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
were they like the St. Kronos people or whatever?
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it exactly.
So do we? Can I do like a time craft to try and determine when because this is out of place, so they had to have done some sort of time stuff to put it here at some point. Can I do a time craft to figure out when this was placed?
Not from here. It's the type of thing that you would have to do a kind of a deeper analysis to see if you can find how long it's been standing here, when it might have been originated, was it built here, ported here. Those are things that you could potentially figure out, but not at a distance, from a crater.
Also, probably need to get close. Is it manned? Did somebody inside shoot the thing, or did somebody remote? And if they do, then like you followed the wormhole the one time, maybe you could find out where the command was sent from.
Okay, so we know how the deviation happens. So we know that what we just witnessed was sort of how this happened. So we need to go inside. Do we go inside now? Do we go inside back?
Seems like jumping has been hard on us.
It has been unpleasant.
It might be a good time to go in now. They might be, happy with
giving
whatever
high
they
fives
just
and stuff.
nuked, and they're probably focused on all that.
Yeah,
Well, we need to stop this.
we do.
Right.
The more we can learn now, the easier it will be for us to go back and stop it before it happened.
Yeah. Let's learn as much as we can without having to do another jump just yet.
Yeah.
Please. I'm back at
Yeah,
0.
I'm at 3.
We have the freedom to jump anytime, anywhere, but
It's painful.
it takes a toll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after a while.
That's why it's
For sure.
always a good idea to be precise about where you want to go and when you want to go and why you want to go there. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
so we are trying to infiltrate this place. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that we're descending the crater itself as opposed to risking more jumping just yet.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Jimmy's
Yes, we
feeling
are.
it pretty bad.
We're doing this on our feet.
Okay, we're gonna do an athletics test for this. It could be piggybacked if we want, so someone can roll
Okay.
athletics, and then everybody else can spend athletics to piggyback off of them. So who would probably be the best to lead that?
All right.
I'm pretty good on athletics. I have an 8.
Very
Oh,
nice. That's
absolutely.
really good.
Same.
I've only got 3.
Okay.
It's
Can
a good
everyone?
mark.
Does everybody have a point to spend?
I have one.
I can
so
take you
all
back.
of you
Yeah.
all of you make your
Mhm.
point spends, and then Syra will make her roll.
Sorry, I rolled a little early.
crap.
I got a 5.
Okay.
I rolled.
Okay. So 5 is okay. It is not the smoothest ride down as you stumble and tumble and don't necessarily have all the devices, the tools and such that you need, but it's not so much that anyone gets seriously hurt. You find yourselves at the base of this crater, and as you're walking, you realize quite quickly that the earth, like the grimy, dusty earth, gives way to what looks to be structured platform, as if circling this large Gothic spire, there is some sort of large platform baked or built into the moon's crater itself. And so you can kind of feel your feet sort of steady at a certain point. As you're approaching, you notice that there are things flying around above you, like drones and such, flying around here and there, swarming, all encircling around. And you realize these are likely, you're not sure that, but most likely some sort of surveillance drones of some kind. And you notice also that there are these small, like almost like tinted glass domes, like very large, like popping up here and there around it as well. There's probably about a dozen or so, like in the circle, and they're fairly large. They're like probably a good like 30 yards across in terms of diameter of these little small black domes. And while you don't see anybody specifically moving about down here, you do see that flying activity above.
So does it seem like we want to try to get to one of those black domes? Like that might be a...
Yeah, they're there
Intermediate-
for a reason.
Yeah. So we want to try to get to the nearest one of those, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
So you get up close, and it's not glass per se, but it's some kind of glass-like substance, right? And you can see it's tinted. It's made to look very dark. Everything around you, even the drones themselves, have this stealth quality to it. And as you're looking around the dome, you can see that there is some sort of rim around the base of it, like some receptacle pad. You think, just from looking at this, Isra, and your knowledge of future tech and everything, you think this is likely meant to like rotate and open, like this is some kind of roofing for whatever's underneath.
Can I do some kind of technical spend here, like a hacking or a science to try to get this thing open?
I would want a tinkering test, because this is more about engineering.
Okay.
There's no clear panels for you to like hack into, but you can certainly spend hacking to get a +3 on your tinkering test. That would be totally fine.
I will do that. So it'll be a +3 to this. 5.
Okay. You find amongst that like little receptacle where the dome is sitting, you can see that there are these mechanical clamps and devices, and you start getting into them, and there's circuitry. The circuitry is not the same that you're probably familiar with. There's a sort of a pattern to it that is, it's not what maybe like your standard electrician or engineer would do. Like everything about this seems almost foreign in some way, but you're able to deduce the basics, right? And after a moment or two of Isra messing around, you all hear zoom, zoom, and you see as the dome shifts over, and underneath it, you can see that there is effectively a starship. It's not very big. It's a small, like, fighter size. It is certainly kind of has like a cross shape to it. And you can see that there's seating for 2. Like there's like a cockpit area. And it's currently strapped down. You can see it's kind of anchored from these struts into the platform beneath it.
Well, we've found a means of transportation. We can fit 2 of us in each of these. We just spread ourselves out a bit.
Looking at this craft, can I do? Is there any sort of like sense that it has time travel capability built into it? Any sort of like? Does it look like this thing actually?
Yeah. As you pull out your devices, no spend necessary. You do get the sense that built into this is in fact some kind of chronal device. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we get the sense it's probably more rudimentary than what ours is, or
you've never really encountered anyone who had autocrons as effective as you? You did see one of the Order of St. Kronos guys, like his blade, he did something that allowed him to shift away pretty quickly, but it didn't look like an autocron. But you've never really encountered anyone who necessarily has like the advance of an autocron. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. And how many of these crafts were there? Was there just this one that we found, or is there?
You saw like a dozen domes. There might be more on the other side of the spire as well. It's possible.
Okay.
And it's like there's no people or anything around.
Nope. Not in here. No.
There a thing where our doodad can look at its doodad and know where it's been?
That's interesting. Like, I would say, like, no spend again, because I don't think you're going to get clear information, but you will see that it has different radiation signatures attached to it. So you can see, like, it has evidence as if being from the far future, evidence for being from the past. Like, there's something from, like, earlier in the 20th century. There's something from being maybe 25th century, something back towards, like, the 14th century. You can even see stuff that's like BCE era and stuff like that. So like, so you're seeing like a spread of radiational signatures.
So should we, this may be a horrible idea. Might we want to try to get in one of these and set it to the Citadel? Or would that be a horrible idea?
That's a mixed bag idea. We should steal one and then ask the Citadel.
Okay. Because we maybe don't want to take it with its GPS to the Citadel.
Right, yeah, I was just thinking that they might have some way of telling where these are going and where they are.
But if we spread out and we each get inside one of these, we can jump this back and see when it got here and take it out.
Yeah, look at its Google Maps history.
I was also thinking if we're getting a little weary from the jumps, we can use this to make the jumps for us.
Jeff, do we know if using this would make it easier to do the time jumps, or would it still be?
It would probably make it harder, actually, because the tech isn't advanced. And it only really fits two. You can see it's like a two-person cockpit.
Yeah.
Right.
But it would still probably be, we steal one, get this sorted, see if the Citadel wants it to study their tech.
Well, if nothing else, at least two of us should take one of these up and get a good view around of this place and see what all is here.
Not it.
I have vehicles, so an 8 in vehicles.
I can come with you.
Okay.
Okay. So Isra and Syra are going to climb inside of this cockpit, and you're going to take off. What about Sun Tzu, Jimmy, Muck? Where are you going to be while this is happening?
You said the drones are like kind of closer to the actual like tower that's
like
sticking up.
Yeah, they're rotating around the spire. Like you're in a very large, like giant circle, essentially, of like a big platform, and then the spire is at the center of it. You guys are kind of on the outermost rim of it. So you're not like really far away, but you have a bit of distance between you and the base of the spire.
Okay. Do we see any like entrance or anything at the base of the spire to like get in, maybe like doors or anything?
You need to get a little closer, I'm afraid to say.
I'll try and get closer.
Or you can make a notice test on it. You can give me a notice spend. If you want to give me a notice spend, you could say,
Sure,
see something from
I'll
a
do that.
distance. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say on the side that you're on, you can see there is a large hangar door of some kind on the side of the spire that's facing you. It's large enough that you would imagine like huge pieces of machinery, even bigger than this fighter, could potentially be moved in and moved out of. So that is the most obvious thing. You do see dotting it here and there. There are windows of a sort. Whether or not those are access points, you don't know, or if it's just viewing ports. It's hard to say. But there are plenty of like panels and things that you could potentially like jury rig in. But the hangar bay door is most obvious.
Okay.
We can sneak up there.
Can I make a military tactics spend to see if I can notice any pattern in the drones and how they're patrolling? If it's like, do I get a militarized vibe from what they're doing here? Like that kind of thing.
If you want to make a spend, I'll say not only do you get the sense that it very much is that kind of pattern, like it's not sporadic, it's not random, it's militarized 100%. But you also notice that there is a small gap where if you wanted, like there are, like you could potentially time it to go from like orb to orb, like these sphere to sphere, and eventually to like the base of the spire. And that would,
Awesome.
I would say that I would carry that over to be anyone who has to make an unobtrusiveness test to get there would get a +3 from if they follow your timing.
Nice.
Okay. Awesome.
And just to throw this out there, and you guys can certainly do your own thing, I just wanted to make sure everybody knows. So I have 8 in vehicles, which means I have keep up. So if my vehicles is rated as 8 or higher, allies can piggyback, even when you wouldn't normally be allowed to do so with characters piloting separate vehicles. So it's kind of just like we did otherwise on piggybacking, where like other people, even if you don't, it just like increases the difficulty. So like if we all wanted to fly these into that hangar, like we could do kind of a piggybacking kind of a thing with the keep up that I have because of my vehicle's 8. So
Good to
not
know.
that anyone has to do that, but just to know that even if you don't have it, I can do it.
Sweet.
Yep. With that knowledge, I might see if I can get one of these vehicles myself and then just do a spend and try and time it with this opening.
Guys, so Sun Tzu, you try to go. The opening is in terms of the drones. It's not like the hangar bay is opening. Like you would have to figure out a way to open it, but you would like their patrols. So Sun Tzu goes and tries to figure out how to open up another orb. Syra and Isra, you get in the vehicle. Isra, you look at the controls. It's quaint for you for 31st century Isra. This is definitely like a modern day pilot trying to fly like like one of those old like Sopwith kind of planes or something like that, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of familiarity with it, but at the same time, like you can sort it out. You're smart enough. And so it is not the type of thing that needs a runway. It very much just I'm going to presume that you all take the clamps and such off so it doesn't like whatever, it doesn't have any issues. And so all of a sudden you just and as all of the different internal devices start to come on, you can see all of the screens that pop up. They always have like this kind of cyberpunk flickering like cross and system. You can see like this, not just is it a cross, but you can see like there's like this clock round around it. And like all of that pops up. You hear the sounds of like liturgical kind of hymns that are just sort of like the load up screen. All of this kind of happens. And before you're even 15 feet off the ground, you hear Fighter 12. What is the meaning of this? Why have you left your dock? Explain.
Okay, so I have some interpersonal things that I can try to spend, and Syra might as well.
Yeah.
I've got 2 in authority, so I'm thinking I might want to spend an authority to like top secret after action assessment required? Because like the thing just happened like not that long ago, so like some kind of after action assessment required.
This would be a 2-point spend requirement to get the effect that you want. Okay.
So I don't have authority, otherwise I would support it. I have bureaucracy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go from 2 to nothing on authority. It's worth it.
Okay. So you basically impersonate like a higher like liturgical rank or something like that.
Mhm.
Is that the idea? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it you say? It's like a top secret mission of some kind?
Yeah, like we're just assessing the success of the recent mission, and we have to gather all of the details and et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Performance review.
So since you made the spend, they'll accept it. Like you can definitely tell there's like some hemming and hawing at first. Like there's a little bit of a there's a little bit of uncertainty in their voice, but but whatever it is that you're saying at least bears some semblance of like some semblance of legitimacy. And they say, "Understood. When you have completed your mission, please return the vessel to its docking port undamaged. His Holiness Malchior will want a full debriefing on your return. The hour is holy."
The hour is holy.
And then there's like
Are we?
a bit of a static.
And also
As
a
if-
do.
It might not have been the right thing to say. It goes down. Okay. What were we going to say, Jivy?
I was just gonna. Is that on comms? Can we all hear that or no?
I would say Syra and Isra could hear that probably. 'Cause
Okay,
they're in the
that's fine.
cockpit. Yeah.
Okay, doke.
But
Okay,
I would be
so-
happy to send that out once that comms shuts down. I think to Isra would communicate that to everybody. So if there was something you wanted to do with that information.
I was just curious if I've heard that phrase before.
The hour is holy. No, but your trivia mind would probably suggest to you that it is some kind of call response thing that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Church likes that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure I
Okay.
said the right thing back because I just said it back and I don't think that was quite the right thing.
When it comes to cults, it's always guaranteed that you're going to say the wrong thing back because it never makes sense.
Well, they don't
Fair
immediately
point.
shoot you down, so that is a bonus.
So there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you get up and you're in the air. Well, not the air, but you're in, you're above the crater now, flying
Okay.
in your spaceship. Where are the two
right.
of you headed?
I think we wanted to get a layout. So we kind of wanted
Yeah.
to see the scope of this place, like where all of it.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was like a scout surveillance thing, and I was looking at my stuff, and I can make a spend on spine to give us +3 stealth on unobtrusiveness.
Okay.
If that would help.
I don't think unobtrusiveness is in play here. Like you've been in contact
Okay.
with them. They know like you're in the ship. Like you've communicated with them. Like unobtrusiveness, so, you know what I mean? Like if so, unless you're like trying to do something more than just fly around, which is makes sense. I
Right.
don't think you have to do an unobtrusive roll right just yet.
Okay. Okay.
will the spying
Um,
help us with our kind of scouting around stuff? Kind
Yeah.
of peeking around, seeing what we can see?
More
Spine or
notice, I think.
notice?
Yeah, notice I would take.
I can. Yeah, I can happily. I will do a notice.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So if you're just doing, what's it called, a flyby of the tower? You just fly around a little bit here and there. Thank you, Ghost Rider. Powder is full. And you fly around, and you notice that there are 24 of these spheres, suggesting that there are potentially 24 of these fighters. So you can see that here. It's looks like there's 12 and 12 kind of spread around this entire field. As you get up, you notice looking down at the the actual platform itself, it looks like this, like the rings themselves create some kind of pattern, right? Some sort of weird swirling pattern that was on the screen that popped up on your terminal, like the background to the cross. And so it seems like that has been implanted into the platform itself. The spire, you would probably suggest, is somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 20 stories, something like that, if you were to equate it to a modern day building. But some of that, the uppermost parts, looks like there's like separate spires, like these little minarets that pop up, and you can see as you're flying around, there are these different drones that you're having to avoid, and it looks like there's a series of like which you would assume are probably like monitoring devices, like satellite imagery, things like that. There's one in particular that seems particularly prominent that is pointed effectively away from Earth, like into deep space. So that's something you notice. I mentioned before that there are tons of like windows and portholes and stuff. You see activity. Like you can see lights, you can see people. Like this is definitely a manned station, operational. They just blew up Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin not too long ago. So like they are certainly operational, it seems. And you would probably even see like there's cannons on top of the spire itself that are probably its defenses.
They're quite ready for... I mean, they're the only ones here, but they are quite ready to defend their position here.
Totally. I'm gonna get on comms and tell everyone, Sanzu especially, that there are 24 surveillance drones here.
24 ships.
Sorry,
yeah,
ships.
yeah. These these fighter crafts.
I just misspoke.
Okay. So Sun Tzu was trying to break into another one. What are Muck and Jimmy doing?
I was going to go with Sun Tzu because I'm still on the dock. I'm not getting on the ship.
Okay. Fair enough. What about you, Muck?
Hearing how fortified it is, at first Muck was tempted to try and sneak into the opening that we'd seen, but that sounds maybe a little foolhardy. We should probably stick together, at least until we have a better idea of what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, we got to get inside. We got to learn things. So Sun Tzu's going there. I'm good to follow.
I think Sun Tzu was going to another sphere with a ship. I thought that's
did I
what he was doing.
misinterpret? Okay.
I
looking at the spire.
Yeah, if he's grabbing another ship, maybe we can team up and go to the spire.
Let's go to the spire. Let's do some sneaking.
Okay.
Maybe even steal something.
Open, flat platform. Yeah.
Kids are like a professional, like highly advanced, highly trained, highly respected time travel agency. Okay. All right.
Jimmy
So the two of you make your unobtrusiveness test. You could do it with your +3 from Sun Tzu if you listen to his suggestion about the drones.
Unobtrusive.
So just roll it and then add the +3 at the end.
That's fine.
I'm going to go ahead and spend at least
Okay,
one.
that'll be an 8.
Good.
That is phenomenal.
That's going to be a 10.
Okay, the two of you
Holy
move
shit!
My
you guys.
gosh.
with precision
We're so sneaky.
and stealth, sphere to sphere, using them as cover along the way, leaving almost like there's like obviously there's a little bit of like dust here, but not much. Like as they've built over top of it, it suggests it's been around for a while. But you do your best not to leave any semblance of tracks like that could be visibly seen. And you find yourselves at the base of this spire, just outside this enormous hangar bay. It almost just looks like a castle's door, like that like the kind of a stereotypical kind of castle door, this massive thing. Like you could certainly fit like a couple cars side by side through it and a few stacked on top of it. It's quite large. And you are right at the base of it. having not been seen by the drones that are circling around.
You are professional.
So professional. Do we see? We're at the door. Do we see like
Mhm.
a panel or some way to open it?
Yeah, you guys. One of you could roll a tinkering test,
I got
or
tinkering.
you can do a tinkering test to try to push through.
Nice.
Okay.
So
I can't
professional.
time travel, but I can do other
Holy
things.
shit,
Okay.
man.
You definitely find an exterior, like the equivalent of like a junction box, so to speak, right? And as you go inside of it, you can see there's like a series of like emergency level levers. Like you can tell this is not something that's supposed to be regularly accessed, but it's probably something that needs to be accessed in terms of emergencies. And you realize like you could very easily like throw this to open up this hangar bay door if that is your desire.
We're going in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you throw the switch and you hear the sounds of holy klaxons, like it almost sounds like a choir, like this, this techno choir that suddenly sounds to warn you to step away from the door. And you watch as it starts to open. And it starts to go up into whatever sockets above it. And you see the platform, the moon, is suddenly flooded with this light that just spreads out and saturates everything around you, and you too are like almost blinded by it because everything's so dark otherwise down here. You can see inside as it opens up. There is a large vehicle of some kind. You don't think it's necessarily. It doesn't look like a fighter. It looks a little bit more utilitarian in some ways. Like it's this large blocky vehicle. It's like it's I would say in and of itself is probably maybe about 30 feet in terms of height, and you can't necessarily see how far back it goes. And it's just barely short enough to fit through this specific opening. You also see that there are rafters that are circling around it, and you can see that there are a host of people that are draped in those types of holy robes that you've seen before, some of which have these devices kind of hovering near them. Others you can see are working with staffs, some of which are at these panels and they're messing around with the devices. And that holy alarm continues to blare, which seems to obviously get their attention as they all kind of turn to look at this door opening. You hear the sounds of like communication. It doesn't decompress. As you can see, all of them are actually in suits of some kind. And they all kind of turn and look in your direction. And you hear the sounds of some of the warning shift and change in some way. Isra and Syra, you hear on the actual comms, it says like Fighter 14 return. We are being invaded. There are some sort of anomalies down at the base. Return at once. And I think we're going to go ahead and just call it there for tonight, as that'll do it.
That's we made good choices.
We did a great job.
I think so.
Best choices.
Best choices.
We are
Absolutely.
seeing all parts of this place.
Yeah.
From inside, from on top.
Guys, I killed Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
You
Right?
did.
But not Michael Collins. He's still floating around up there, freaking
Caught
scared out of
that.
his
Caught
gourd
that
right
You
now.
did not say his name. I caught that. I'm like,
He's probably
wait.
like, what is happening? Oh my God. Oh, it's terrible. Anyhow,
Oh dear.
there you go. All right. Well,
I
that's it.
do love that Muck does not believe in the moon, but is exceptional at moonwalking.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Let's do a couple closing plugs and then we will get the hell out of here. So I'm going to start my Trey. Tell us where we can find you online.
Yeah. I am my plays games on YouTube where I make system agnostic or multi-system content, but develops as under the GM and player experience. Yeah.
Phenomenal. And you can always check the descriptions and such, whether you're listening to this or watching this later. You'll always find everyone's links. You can find all their awesome content. Joe, Chuck, what's going on with DOK and Canon Otter too? Adam's not here.
Yeah. DOK on Wednesday, we'll be doing some more Savage Rifts. On Friday, we'll be doing some more Cyberpunk. It's Always Sunny in Night City. And as far as Canon Otter goes, if you go to drive-through or store.canonotter.com, whatever the website is, you can buy a copy of Teenage Odyssey. And then hopefully, if you're a backer, you filled out your survey and you should have already gotten your emails for Skin City. And if you haven't, if you wait until very early July, I think it is, you'll be able to buy it on drive-through. That's this book here, Skin City. So wonderful.
Awesome. I just got my thing yesterday, I think, from drive-through. Yeah.
That's when we sent it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're in KC this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Canon Otter Studio has a booth at CantCon. Go there, check it out, buy copies of my books, because it makes my ego feel good.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. As for us, I'm going to talk first about Huckleberry. Our dear friend Steven has been making this wonderful game, Huckleberry RPG. You can find out more information right online. You can hop into our Discord, ask him questions, or you can find the Quick Draw Edition over at Drive-Thru RPG. Try it yourself, and in a couple months, it's going to be up on BackerKit, and you can get your own fancy, shiny, awesome copy. In terms of streaming, tomorrow night, we are up next. We've got more Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, the role-playing game, where we are in 1997 and exploring various orifices of a giant creature that lives in the western desert of Texas. So that's what we're doing. Then Thursday, we've got Swords of the Serpentine. If you like Gumshoe, Kevin Culp games, we've got Swords of the Serpentine. It's the other one. We're doing Sword and Sorcery. We're nearing the end of our campaign. It's been a lot of fun. And that should be maybe like the penultimate episode, maybe, or the anti-penultimate, something like that. Friday this week, I think it's a Dragonbane week. So Aaron will be running us through some Dragonbane. Saturday, we should be back to Call of Cthulhu, where things went bad a couple weeks ago. And so we'll see if we can turn it around. And then next Monday, we'll be back with more Time Watch. But that's it for us. Let's see. Thank you. I saw the Diesel Shot rated towards the end. What was the other raid, Melissa, that we should say thank you to?
Lies y'all enjoy.
Lies y'all enjoy. Thank you very much. If you haven't checked either of their channels out, you should definitely go do so as well. We're going to pay it forward. We're going to raid somebody here in a second. I'm going to put us on the end screen. Everyone have a great rest of your night. See y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.